this is Faye, and today I'm gonna read you a little bit. So after my last video, I got a couple of really good suggestions. One was to make lore tours of forgotten parchments and forgotten things, forgotten pieces of lore, just like what I already did, but make them slightly shorter and less ASMR-y. And another idea was to make another line of videos where I use my soft-spoken, I like to call it my go the F to sleep voice, to read you some lore chunks or some lore bits from either the books or some wiki pages. Can also be from a fan page compilation. I will credit it if I do. Some things that you might not have picked up on your own, and make it more accessible, but where there's not much happening on the screen at all. Meaning that you're free to take your phone with you out into the kitchen, make food, do the dishes, do some laundry, take it for a jog, study, pretend you're studying, go out into the sun, do whatever you feel like. Sit down, relax, sleep even if you feel like that. But while you learn a little bit about facts and trivia that you might not know about the game. And where you do not feel like there is anything you're missing out on the screen. And, you know, honestly, those seemed like pretty solid ideas to me, because I love talking about lore, and I am by no means an expert. I will make mistakes here. I will mispronounce things. I will misremember things. I will certainly make some mistakes here, but I will try to keep them to a minimum and keep as close to the source material as I possibly can. But see, the problem is that Final Fantasy is so lore dense that you will likely break your skull if you try to run yourself against the wall of that lore in one go. So, we're gonna try to break it down into small chunks and see if they're slightly more digestible, little less headache inducing, and just overall, you know, more endurable. So for this first Faye attempts to knock you out with lore topic, a very close friend of mine suggested that I did a bit on Ishgard, which, you know, seems fitting as the city is right now under reconstruction, and unless Square Enix pulls the trolliest of moves ever, we will have a housing ward there. So why not learn a little bit about the city before we move in, right? So without any further ado, let's take a city tour of Ishgard. Foundation. Visitors to Ishgard who traverse the steps of faith first arrive in Foundation, the lower level of the capital. Like the whole of Ishgard, it is shielded by the wards of Danifan's collar. Yet, should the Dravanians find a way to breach these defenses, Foundation would serve as the last line of defense for the pillars. The Ark of the Worthy. The main gates to the city of Ishgard are more than mere stone and steel. Ishgardian scripture states that only those who have been judged worthy in the eyes of Hellonic are granted safe passage into the city as children of the faith. Saint Valerian's Forum. Later venerated as a saint, a towering stone statue of the man was erected in the plaza which now bears his name. Alas, in the most recent Dravanian assault, a pack of Vivens set upon it with great fury, and now only half remains. Saint Rainette's Forum, named for a legendary dragoon who successfully tracked and revenged herself upon the dragon who tore apart her lover. Saint Rainette's Forum is another plaza built in the memory of those who fought valiantly in the name of Ishgard. The Ark of the Humble. Once she had fulfilled her destiny, Lady Rainette laid down her spear and became a woman of the cloth. She passed the remainder of her days in modesty as a nun and dedicated her life to helping the poor and needy. For that reason, the enormous archway which leads to the forum bearing her name is called the Ark of the Humble. The Fury's Mercy. One of the mighty ballistas protecting the city, the Fury's Mercy is set to strike its target with a force so great that it dies instantly, and thus feels no pain. The Broom. Named for the thick fog which rolls in with altogether too much frequency, the lowest levels of the city are home to the poorest citizens of Ishgard. Noblemen and clergy rarely deign to venture below, preferring to ignore or speak in hushed tones of the Broom. Cloud 9. The proprietor of this modestly priced inn has been heard to boast that his beds are so soft and fluffy that one will feel as though they are sleeping on a cloud. However, after paying their coin, one will quickly find that the mattresses are not stuffed with goose feathers, but hardened stacks of dry straw. The Forgotten Night. No one can say with confidence when the Forgotten Night first opened its doors. The tavern has been passed down from former knight to former knight, each who was said to have bled for his nation. In keeping with tradition, the new proprietor receives an heirloom from the old, an ancient rusted sword inscribed with the words, "Brothers brave and true, live well, forgotten and content." Congregation of our Knights Most Heavenly. The headquarters of the Temple Knights, the congregation was established in foundation that her knights may more efficiently defend the paths leading to the pillars, where the vault, Sir Remino's Cathedral, and many other important religious institutions can be found. The Light Feather Proving Grounds. Originally established to host matches for battle-trained chocobos, the Light Feather Proving Grounds, so named for the flurry of golden feathers left in the wake of spirited fights, have since played host to a variety of spectacles, including more traditional knightly tournaments. Skysteel Manufactory. Once dedicated to the production of traditional arms and armor, House Hellonar's manufactory has since become a center for the research and development of ballistas, cannons, and other advanced armaments designed to fell dragons. Recently, they penned an agreement with Garland Ironworks, allowing them to begin mass production of small-scale airships. The Holy Stables. In addition to breeding and training of chocobos for Temple Knight Cavaliers, the Holy Stables also host rigorous fight training for Ishgard's famous black thoroughbreds. The Pillars. The Pillars serve as the seat of Ishgard's theocracy, as well as the residential ward of the nobility. The pristine beauty of the buildings in the pillars above is in stark contrast to the crumbling masonry and scorched structures in foundation below. The Jeweled Crosier. The stalls which line this long, narrow alleyway have been likened to the precious stones set in the sacred crosier of the Archbishop. Here, Ishgardian merchants sell their wares with the same fervor as those of every great city. Durandare Manor. The ancestral home of House Durandare is also known as the Belfry, as it was once adorned with an enormous iron bell. It was permanently removed, however, after an incident in which its rusted chains snapped on a stormy night, sending the tocsin tumbling to the cobbles, crushing a passerby. Hellonic Manor. The residence of House Hellonic, one of the 4 high houses of Ishgard, is said to contain a courtyard filled with flowers of surpassing beauty, leading many to refer to the manor as the Rose Garden. Fortamp Manor. The family home of House Fortamp is also widely known as the Alicorn for its spire-topped gazebo, in which a young Lord Horchiffon was often seen stripped to the waist, practicing his swordsmanship. Semail Manor. The Rook, as some refer to the manor, is the pride of House Semail. Owing to their vast knowledge of architecture, the family has frequently renovated and expanded upon its ancestral home in accordance with the changing trends of the era. Athenaeum Astrologicum. Founded by Gonriol de Durandare, who confirmed the link between the coruscation of the Dragon Star and the movement of the Dravanians, the Astrologicum is a center of learning for students of the Ishgardian School of Astrology. For expanding upon the theories of Adenel the Younger and building the foundation of the modern school, Gonriol was later venerated as a saint. The Ark of the Venerable. It is said that Saint Gonriol, after a long and storied tenure as a noble knight and slayer of mighty dragons, passed through this gate and founded the city's first astrologicum. Borel Manor. Borel Manor was bequeathed to Sir Aymeric de Borel after the elderly couple who raised him passed away. He resides there, attended by a manservant who served House Borel for generations, and kept company by a cantankerous old cat. However, as his administrative duties demand his undivided attention, he rarely has time to return to the manor. The Supreme Sacred Tribunal of Hellonic Inquisitory Doctrine. The tribunal serves as the Holy See's hall of adjudication, wherein the guilt of the accused is ascertained through myriad means, including trial by combat. The lower chambers of the tribunal also serves as the headquarters for the inquisitors, hunters of heretics, and experts at extracting confessions. The Hoplon, the largest plaza in the city, The Hoplon takes its name from the bronze shield borne by Hellonic. Ceremonies are often held below the steps leading to the vault to the north, and generations of archbishops have taken their oaths beneath the watchful gaze of King Forden's statue. The Vault. The vault is both Ishgard's seat of government and the residence of the Archbishop of the Ishgardian Orthodox Church. St. Forden's Basilica on the first floor is open to all acolytes who may gather for services. Access to the upper levels is strictly controlled, as they contain the offices of senior clergy as well as the chambers of the Archbishop himself. St. Remino's Cathedral. Formal Mass is conducted in this majestic cathedral, named for the first Archbishop of the Ishgardian Orthodox Church. The adjacent St. Andalim's Scholasticate provides comprehensive theological education to those who wish to don the robes of the clergy. The architects. The massive stone statues which line the promenade leading to the vault have been carved in the likeness of the founding fathers of Ishgard, who fought beside King Forden I in his battle with Nidhogg. The Last Vigil. The Last Vigil stands at the center of the 4 citadels built far beyond the borders of the city: Dawn, Dusk, Stone, and Steel. In the event that they fall to the might of the Travanians, this watchtower in the pillars would serve as the last bastion for the faithful. This concludes our little city wandering. I do hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that you learned a little bit more about Ishgard. And if there is any interest in it, I would be happy to make more of these of other areas of Curthus or just other areas of the game in general. If you have any suggestions or any requests, most of you who will hear this at all will know where my Discord lives and can poke me there, but otherwise just leave a comment below or send me a DM. Anyways, thanks for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!